demography defines this thing. Parties are taking a very short-term view, are taking a 5-year view of history. But there are movements which take a much longer view of history.
Where do you see democracy and the status of free speech in our country?
The Hindu, the Indian Express, the Print, the Quint, most of them are not taking a pro-government line everywhere. Social media is very convenient. It is very easy to sit and make a tweet.
You just said about freebies and welfare.
Prices of oil go up, the prices of milk go up, the prices of medicine go up. I mean, it does not affect me all that much. Corruption is also a function of how poorly designed our systems are. It's a healthy debate, let it be.
Sir, welcome to the show and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Sir, for me, it is a privilege because I get to speak to you one on one. पहले तो उसके बाद आपसे सर बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता ही है और उसके बाद मेरे लिए थोड़ा सा इंटेलेक्चुअली चैलेंजिंग होता है क्योंकि कैनवस इतना बड़ा होता है सर आपके साथ. There is history. You are a
You're
historian.
very kind. Mostly you're very kind.
But sir, it is true also, isn't it? Because you've been one of those people who I keep saying has literally shaped the map of India in some places, and you've written a book about that.
Yes.
And one of those things, sir, which in the recent context, which was constantly coming out आपकी writing से, आपके article से, was you've seen West Bengal, sir. You've served in that state for your entire career, more
Well,
or less.
I haven't served there for my entire career, but yes, from 1986 to 2018, I've been involved with whatever has been happening in West Bengal. और 3 tenures भी किए वहाँ पे, 4 tenures actually वहाँ पे किए और आना जाना तो लगे रहता था. And क्योंकि सारे, I've trained almost everyone who's gone to the West Bengal cadre. So one gets an idea of what is happening.
Sir, I want to come to that. And particularly that portion of your journey, जब आप एक किसी young IAS officer को, because you've been the director of the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy also, from there to somebody getting posted there and then actually going into the field, what is that transition like? What really is happening? Are they really ready? Are they really ready for what is to come?
Well, you see, point is that the complexity of administration is such that you cannot prepare anyone for all situations.
Sir.
Because every situation is so unique. आप इतनी ट्रेनिंग दे ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि आपको बेसिकली ट्रेनिंग देनी है कॉमन सेंस में,
जी,
आपको ट्रेनिंग देनी है लॉ में और आपको ट्रेनिंग देनी है ह्यूमन मैनेजमेंट में.
सर,
कि आप कम्युनिकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
जी,
आप बात कैसे करते हैं. देखिए, हर स्थिति में, हर परिस्थिति में हमारा कंट्रोल तो है नहीं परिस्थितियों पे, लेकिन हम परिस्थितियों पे कैसे रिएक्ट करते हैं. हाउ डू वी रिएक्ट एट दोज सिचुएशंस. आर वी टेकिंग ए वेरी शॉर्ट टर्म इंस्टेंट रिएक्शन, आर वी रिफ्लेक्टिंग, टेकिंग अ स्लाइटली लॉन्ग टर्म रिएक्शन, और आर वी ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व अ स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉब्लम. दीज आर 3 थिंग्स. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. एक एक्सीडेंट होता है रोड पे इन विच 2 students die. There's an immediate reaction. Their reaction is very violent. You can get upset with them that why are they behaving like this? They are disrupting the law and order. You can take a very short-term view of it. You can take a view that, all right, at the moment, there is anger. So at the moment, the first step is to control the situation, to send the children to the hospital, to provide whatever help can be done. That is one aspect. Second, then you have to see what was the condition of that road. Was the road full of potholes? Was the road one in which an accident should not have taken place? Is the accident because of the road? Is the accident because of their rash and negligent driving? Are students generally using the helmet or not? If they're not generally using the helmet, is it not the mandate of the state, that is the government, the district administration, the police, the RTO, to ensure कि बच्चे helmet पहने? That is the second aspect of it. So you can take a very short-term view of it. You can take a medium-term view of it. You can take an even longer-term view of it. Why do children have to travel on their own bikes to go to college? Why can't there be public transport? Why can't there be a metro? So, depending on how you frame the question, how you look at the question, a lot of things will get resolved. So, the farmer's agitation. Take any agitation. Take any farmer's agitation. जब agitation हो रही होती है तो it is creating a inconvenience to the public.
Yes.
Sure, you have to remove that inconvenience. But if you do not go into the reasons why this inconvenience was caused in the first place, that inconvenience will happen again. So are you looking at the symptom? Are you looking at the problem? Or are you looking at what created that problem? So these are three different aspects and three different scenarios. So a good administrator, a good political leader must go into the background of all these things. After all, अभी मैंने एक सीरीज की थी लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म पे.
जी.
I did a series of 4 articles on left-wing extremism. And first, I'd looked at my own interaction with Kanu Sanyal when I was a young ADM in Darjeeling. Then I looked at how West Bengal looked at the issue after some blasts had taken place in 2006-7. Then I'd looked at, how Naxalism was dealt with in Bastar and Dantewada by some development administrators. And then I looked at how the police handled that situation. Now, we have to, Naxalbari could not have happened unless there was extreme inequality. I mean, that was the condition precedent.
Sure.
Now, if you have addressed that extreme inequality, then you have addressing some of the issues. But along with that, you also have to take action. So everything is a very complex, everything is very complex. So it's not as easy as we make it out to be. So that's what I have to say, that every situation calls for every, you see, take another example. अब एक्सीडेंट होता है तो एम्बुलेंस भी चाहिए. एम्बुलेंस में तो कुछ ही चीजें हो सकती है ना. द एम्बुलेंस कैन ओनली टेक यू अप टू द हॉस्पिटल. द हॉस्पिटल इज अ मोर स्पेशलाइज्ड डिपार्टमेंट. एम्बुलेंस कैनॉट बी अ सब्स्टिट्यूट फॉर अ हॉस्पिटल, and a hospital is not a substitute for an ambulance. Let's understand that. You cannot create a hospital everywhere. But an ambulance cannot solve the problems. So it is the ambulance, the hospital working together. It is the police, the ambulance and the hospital working together. It is the civil society and police and ambulance and hospital working together. Right? So all this requires a much larger viewpoint of looking at things.
Sir, I want to ask, I mean, I don't know if this is a very pertinent or direct question, but the way you framed it sounds like diagnosis is needed. Diagnosis of the deeper issue.
Is also needed. You see, everything is needed. You need immediate remedial action, and you need a diagnostic, and you need the entire wherewithal to maintain that diagnostic. You see, today India is talking about AIIMS everywhere. We have an AIIMS in Rishikesh. We have an AIIMS in Delhi. We have PGI in Chennai. We have an AIIMS almost everywhere. But when the first AIIMS came up, at that time, India did not really have the wherewithal to create an AIIMS in every district or a medical college in every district. So our ability to respond is also a function of our economic growth. It's also a function of how much is the revenue realization. You see, अब तो ठीक है ना, अब तो 56 lakh crores का हमारा budget है. So we can think in very ambitious terms. But when I joined service, our budgets were very limited. We were on a shoestring budget, अब तो problem नहीं है. तो जैसे जैसे देश इवॉल्व होगा, जैसे जैसे हमारी आर्थिक स्थितियां इंप्रूव होंगी, वैसे वैसे हमारी ability to address issues will also get affected, will also become better.
Sir, does it stand to reason, क्योंकि हम ये नोटिस करते हैं कि जैसे जैसे बजट इंक्रीज होता है और हमारी एबिलिटी बढ़ती है, वैसे वैसे लोगों की डिसैटिस्फैक्शन भी बढ़ती है और अपीयर्स
let me put it like this, expectations बढ़ती हैं.
Expectation.
You see, there is in one of my articles I've written, that it is not that the state is not improving. It is not that the state is not doing well. It is that expectations will always exceed the ability of anyone to sort it out. To take it now, you're a new, whether it is a college, whether it is in the family, whatever you resolve, the next set of expectations is always higher. So it's a question of higher expectations, right?
Sir, are those higher expectations not all right? Because
right, perfectly fine.
So, sir, let's talk about expectations, generally speaking.
Sure.
अब सर ये कोई बहुत ज़्यादा हाई एक्सपेक्टेशन तो नहीं है कि रैम्पेंट करप्शन नहीं होना चाहिए. जैसे फॉर इंस्टेंस, इफ यू ट्रेन एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, यंग आईएएस ऑफिसर टू हैंडल द कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ अ स्टेट लाइक वेस्ट बंगाल, जो कि वैसे ही कॉम्प्लेक्स है, इकोनॉमिकली, पॉलिटिकली, उसका कल्चर भी डिफरेंट है थोड़ा, तो ये सर तो हर कोई डायग्नोस करता ही है. तो करप्शन,
ये मेरा जो मानना है ना, वो ये है कि देखो, करप्शन इज ऑल्सो अ फंक्शन of how poorly designed our systems are. अब we have had this recent controversy in exams and various other things.
Yes.
You see, you must have done the GMAT exam sometimes, or the TOEFL exam sometimes, the GRE sometimes,
Yes.
or the CAT exam. Possibility of cheating does not arise. So we have to create an ecosystem where the possibility of cheating does not take place. You see, unless we create that, the human temptation to cross the line, the human temptation to do a little here, to do a little hanky, to do a little panky, that is part of human nature. So we cannot change that, but we have to make our system so foolproof. So foolproof. You know, the word foolproof comes like waterproof, something which water will not affect. Foolproof is something which even a fool will not make a mistake. So we have to make a corruption-proof system in which even if you want to be, you cannot be corrupt. An open book examination, for example. I mean, what will you do? I mean, everybody has an open book, so kya kar loge aap? Unless you have read. So you have to frame your questions in a manner. So, you know, the whole thing is, how do you frame your questions? And let me tell you, unlike what most people think, corruption is coming down. Corruption at the base level is coming down. You can actually get your ration card, your Epic voter card, your Aadhaar card, so many things, so many services are now available online. You know, you have now seen a situation where getting a passport is fairly easy. You know, it's very relaxed. You write to the center and you get an appointment, and they'll call you at 11. Maybe if they're given you an appointment at 11, maybe you'll be called in at 11. Maybe you'll be called in after 12, 12:30. You can sit, have your coffee, do your thing. If the papers are right, they'll tell you right there, the papers are right, go ahead, do it. But aaj se 20-30 saal pehle, getting a passport was a nightmare. Because people did not know how to fill the form. There was a whole maze about it. So you had touts everywhere to get you a passport. Now we've been able to sort the problem of passport. As far as driving licenses are concerned, I know there are still some issues there, but if we can improve that system, if we can, you know, go in for PPP modes there, because after all, who are the people who benefit from a better licensing regime, you know, so once we can expand that. Now, another example which I often give is that when students are in college, they are about 19 years old. All of them are eligible to get a license. Why not hold a camp in the college itself? Why should the student have to go to the RTO office? Now, if a camp is being held in a college, is it possible for the RTO or anybody to take money there?
Very difficult.
And who are the people who are going to get a license? Everybody who is 19 would want a license. उससे नीचे तो आप license देंगे नहीं. तो अगर हम हर ITI को और हर कॉलेज को अगर हम कवर कर सकें कि भाई आपका सितंबर में कैंप लगेगा, आपका अक्टूबर में कैंप लगेगा, आपका यहाँ कैंप लगेगा, वहाँ का, तो मोस्ट ऑफ योर यंग पॉपुलेशन यू वुड हैव कवर्ड. It will also incentivize those who are not able to drive to learn how to drive, to go one step further. We can even have some driving lessons for them in the college itself. So why don't we get deep into the problem? I mean, that is why you have an intelligent. What is the job of an intelligent bureaucracy? What is the job? What is our job? If our job is only to push files, if our job is only to, then you are a very good stenographer. But damn it, you're not a stenographer, you're an officer, which means that you must delve deep into why the problem is, how that problem can be solved, and then give a problem. And now look, if we say that we want to do these camps in schools and colleges, it is feasible administratively. It is politically very acceptable. It is economically feasible. It is morally correct. So what is wrong in doing it? It is just that little inertia. That inertia has to be broken. And that is why you require a bright civil service. You require a civil service which is sensitive, which is inquisitive, and which is trying to bring about reform every day, every single day. You must do something which makes life easier for the citizen.
So, but then the same question that you asked, why has it not happened yet? Because it's so clear.
It is happening. It is happening. Maybe not at the pace at which I want it, but it is happening. Obviously, all the examples that I'm giving you are examples which have happened in some districts, which have been done by some people, which have happened somewhere. And many things are now changing. You know, for example, now under the Smart City program, you have CCTV cameras almost. In fact, how is the crime... how has the crime detection become so much better now? It's because of CCTV cameras, right? So there are many ways of looking at things. You can either increase the number of traffic policemen, or you can have CCTV cameras with a very intelligent and a very organized system that the moment somebody skips a light, he gets a WhatsApp message immediately. The next 2 minutes, Baba, 500 रुपए का फाइन हो गया. You skip the next red light, another zero is added, 5,000 का फाइन हो गया. So that by the time you come from, Connaught Place to Noida, you had a fine of 2,500. Next time you will not do it.
Yeah.
So we have to be more intelligent. We have to be more creative in what we and in how we do things. That's, to my mind, that's the way we have to look at things.
Sir, behind the scenes, when we talk about these changes, what exactly stops people? So, I want to get into the reasons of the inertia. Of course, the inertia to a meta claim hai about why this might not be happening. One thing, sir, you mentioned just a while ago, the ritualization of procedure. आपने West Bengal के context में कहा था.
Ritualization of procedure, I meant in the sense कि देखो, a lot of things have to go to the cabinet. After all, the cabinet is the supreme decision-making body in the country.
जी.
Right. So people elect their MLAs or the MPs. The MLAs and MPs in turn they elect the chief minister, and the chief minister has the cabinet.
Sir.
And the cabinet is ultimately responsible for everything.
जी.
Now, what I noticed was that in West Bengal, both from the times of the left front regime and then here, and I was doing it only in comparison to what I saw under Mr. Bhagat Singh Koshyari and N.D. Tiwari in Uttarakhand when I was on deputation here, that cabinet meetings used to be good cabinet meeting. मतलब एक मुद्दा आता था, उस पे लंबी चौड़ी बहस होती थी. अगर हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट ने एक प्रपोजल दिया है तो समटाइम्स फॉर द राइट रीजन, समटाइम्स फॉर द रॉन्ग रीजन, बिकॉज द मिनिस्टर डजंट लाइक द अदर मिनिस्टर, लेकिन अच्छी खासी बहस होती थी. और बहस के बाद अल्टीमेटली द सीएम वुड से, ऑल राइट, वी हैव हर्ड एवरी साइड, एवरीथिंग, सो लेट अस डू दिस, and the resolution would be passed, maybe with some slight amendment here or there, but at least everybody heard and everybody understood what is the context of the thing, because at the end of the day, even the technical education minister must know why the higher education policy of the state is like that. He must know why the sericulture mission of the state is like that. So when I went from Uttarakhand to West Bengal, and I was the secretary of food processing and horticulture department, so the minister had kept a meeting at 4 o'clock, and I had noticed that day that he had a cabinet meeting at 3:30. I asked him, sir, वो तो आधे घंटे में तो आप तो कैबिनेट है ना आपकी 3:30 बजे की, तो हाँ हो जाएगी वो तो खत्म. I said, cabinet meeting आधे घंटे में? Because in my experience of Uttarakhand was that if the cabinet meeting was there scheduled for 2 hours, it will last for 5 hours, 6 hours. In fact, our pleasant moments in the Uttarakhand meetings was कि वो 2-3 बजे शुरू हुई, फिर वो चाय पकौड़े आए, फिर बाद में खाना आया, फिर शाम को 8-9 बजे तक चाय कॉफी, and there's good mahal, because while the meeting is happening and only the secretaries who are involved in that particular discussion, they'll be called in, the rest of us would have a... So, I mean, I was used to cabinet meetings scheduled for 2 hours, lasting for about 5 to 6 hours. And here was a cabinet meeting which would end in 30 minutes over a cup of tea. So I thought, okay, theek hai. Then in the next regime, and in the regime under TMC also, I mean, there it wouldn't even last 30 minutes. You just come in, have a cup of tea, have some, sandesh and some mishti, and that's it. Because by the time I was also the LRC and the ACS industry, so I was invited to cabinet meetings, not as in attendance, of course, but one just saw that a proposal would come, and everybody will say okay. So what is happening is that discussions are not happening. You see, what is required before any decision is that how is the decision made? A decision, as you are aware, and as most of our readers would be, as most of our listeners would be aware, that the secretary to the department prepares a cabinet note. A cabinet note is supposed to be a comprehensive document which contains everything about that subject. It has an anecdotal aspect to it, that why are we doing this? Just as I mentioned earlier, let us take example of the cold chain policy in this country. कि horticulture produce बहुत हो गया, बहुत एप्पल हो गए, लेकिन बहुत सारे एप्पल्स में से अगर 20-25% एप्पल अगर सड़ रहे हैं, या हमारे मैंगोज अगर खराब हो रहे हैं, या हमारे केले जो जलगांव में बने हैं वो they are not being able to come to Delhi within 28 hours or 24 hours, तो फिर डिस्टॉर्शन हो रही है ना, बिकॉज यू आर वेस्टिंग. तो इस पे पूरी एक कैबिनेट नोट, आई रिमेंबर वन ऑफ द लॉन्गेस्ट एंड द मोस्ट एलैबोरेट कैबिनेट नोट्स आई मेड was on the cold chain policy for this country. So that was a 128-page document, which is almost like a mini PhD thesis, because you talk about what is the domain, because after all, if the domain of the problem is just 1% or 2%, then you don't need a cabinet decision on that.
Sure.
Then you don't need to invest thousands of crore rupees on that. It is only when the volume of what you're doing is very large and its impact is going to be very high and it's leading to, you know, a distortion. That is why you bring in a policy. सो पॉलिसी आप लेके आते हैं, उसके बाद में फिर बहुत डिस्कशन होती है उसके ऊपर, राइट. सो इन सेंस वी वांटेड अ डेडिकेटेड रेल फ्रॉम जलगांव टू दिल्ली, dedicated rail freight for a dedicated rail corridor for that. The agriculture department would be wanting a concessional rate for agricultural produce, but the railway would say, why should we give you a concessional rate? But there is a debate and it's a healthy debate. Why not? I mean, why not? Why should the railways not want to protect its stuff? Why should the agriculture not want a concession? Why should food processing not want an element over there? Take a very simple thing, like whether when we decide to ban the export of onion, it is not just the agriculture ministry which is involved. It is the agriculture ministry which is involved. It is this food and civil supplies department which is involved. It is the commerce ministry which is involved. It is the ministry of external affairs which is involved. It is the ministry of shipping and transport that is involved. It's the state governments are involved because the prices could go up, the prices could go down. So a whole set of people are involved. The hotel industry is involved. So a cabinet note or a cabinet decision on any particular thing, and I just mentioned one very small aspect, but on every aspect, whether it is the education policy or the textiles policy or the silicon policy or what you name it, every policy, a policy is a policy because it impacts a very large number of people, right? Policy is a policy because it impacts a very large number of people. So that now, because the rules of business say that certain decisions can be taken only by the cabinet, right? Therefore, what was happening in West Bengal was, cabinet तो decision होना है, तो decision तो हो गया. आपने, fact is कि क्या meeting हुई? हाँ जी meeting हुई. क्या मंत्री आए? क्या चीफ सेक्रेटरी थे अटेंडेंस में? चीफ सेक्रेटरी थे. क्या फाइनेंस की राय ली गई? लेकिन सब ने टिक 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 कर दिया without looking into the long term implications of that. And some decisions are even being taken without the cabinet being involved. Now, when you announce a welfare scheme, let's take the case of an announcement which has just been made in West Bengal about enhancing the what Mamata Banerjee used to give 1,700 rupees. Now it's been increased to 3,000 rupees. I mean, I'm not saying it is good or bad. What I'm saying is that the speed and the haste in which it is done, the actual implications are that 18% of the budget will go into the scheme. Now, that is a larger policy question. Are you going to be putting 20% of your budget into welfare? Are you going to put 20% of your budget? Or because what are the alternate uses of that? The alternate uses of that are a good ITI. The alternate use of that is a good bridge, is a good infrastructure. So it does not matter what decision you take. But what matters is whether all opinions have been taken into account before a decision is made. That is what that is what I say must happen in a democratic formation. That's what must happen in a systems approach. Final decision can always be taken, but you must know what are the implications of your decision.
सर मेरे दो सवाल हैं. एक सवाल तो बहुत ब्रॉड है. जैसे आपने बताया, वन गेट्स द फीलिंग ऑफ यस बीइंग टेकन बिहाइंड द सीन्स ऑफ हाउ दीज डिसीजंस कुड एक्चुअली बी टेकन और कितनी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है इसमें, वो बहुत अप्रिशिएबल है. सवाल ऑटोमेटिकली आता है क्या कि इतने सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स को साथ में लेने के लिए रेलवे अपना टर्फ क्यों ना संभाले? क्या चाइना ऐसे सोचता होगा सर? डू यू थिंक? बिकॉज
China doesn't think like that.
नहीं ना.
Because China is a one-track
हाँ.
thing. But then you must realize, that what happens in our country is that whatever is wrong, whatever is not right, comes out in the open. But what has gone wrong in China, nobody knows what has gone wrong. And it is only after a long time that those things, like Chinese, जब ये इनके housing banks collapse किए, nobody knew what is happening. Now, at least, everybody likes to dress up their budget. Everybody the drawing room in a home is always better than the bedroom. And the bedroom is always, there's a clutter in the living room. There is a hierarchy
Sir.
there's a hierarchy of how we present things. I mean, the drawing room is very formal, the living room, then the bedroom, then the children's nursery. Now, you can't expect the children's nursery to be where you are spending time. So, what is happening is that in the case of India, all our accounts are in the open. What the budget is there is in the open. Ab rupee niche ja raha to ja raha. There's nothing much that can be done about it because of a big debate. The RBI has one view, the finance ministry has one view, the stock exchange has another view, the market has another view. But in China, if one fine day they decide that no, this will be the operative rate vis-a-vis the dollar, that will be the operative rate vis-a-vis the dollar. Now, there are good things about it, there are not so good things about it. So, we have to take everything with a pinch of salt. So, whatever information we get about China, I would take it with a pinch of salt because I'm not very sure about the data points. I'm not very sure about because there are many views about it. In fact, one of the persons that Arun Prashar, another ex-civil servant, he gives a very contrarian view on China because there are a lot of people who give the view that everything about China is nice, but he gives the view that a lot of things about China are honky-dory. So we have to take everything with a pinch of salt.
सर ये perennial debate है democracy की, speed versus consensus. Do you think there is a trade-off?
Well, I would still feel that, yes, there is a trade-off, but I would think that, to the extent possible, if we can have a broad consensus, as a matter of, we don't realize that a lot of times, a lot of consensus actually exists. A lot of time, consensus exists. It is how you operate that, how some vested interests sometimes try to break that consensus, that fishes happen, and that will happen in a democracy.
Sir,
It's okay.
sir, yes, of course. एक तो ये कि somebody will come hijack the process, but sir, is it not true that consensus के चक्कर में regresses us to the mean? Mediocrity आ जाती है.
उसमें तो देखिए, उसमें कंसेंसस के चक्कर में तो मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दूं कि अब कंसेंसस आ गया कि फ्रीबीज देने हैं.
हाँ.
इसमें everybody is responsible, na? It is not just one party which is responsible because you name one political party in the country which has not done it. Everybody has done it.
Right.
So a lot of times what happens is also because a lot of parties are taking a very short-term view, are taking a 5-year view of history. But there are movements which take a much longer view of history. Sometimes there's a clash between the shorter view of history and the longer view of history. That is where the problem comes. Because see, if you look at our freedom movement also, there were those who wanted to enter the legislative councils and wanted to bring about reform from within.
Yes.
And there were others who said that we don't participate at all. So that debate will always be there. And it's a healthy debate. Let it be. There is no problem. I'm not looking for a one-size-fit-all manifesto for all political parties. Political parties will be different. They will ask for different interests. They will ask for different campaigns. So let that be.
Sir, आपने एक बड़ी interesting बात कही, and I want to pick this thread up and tie it up with what you just said about freebies and welfare. Freebies और welfare में sir क्या difference है? और where does one end, where does the other begin? And everybody seems to do it.
Let me explain. You see, of course, unless we have clearly defined what is a welfare measure, you'll not be able. But my argument would be like this. You see, that if the schools are running well, and if the hospitals are running well, then the per capita private expenditure on these things will go down. You see, what is the point of it? And I often give this example between Kerala and Punjab. And you're living in a village in Kerala, you don't have to spend on education. And you don't have to spend on health. And if you don't have to spend on health and on education, 500 rupees a day is a big sum. But if you are getting 500 rupees a day and you have to pay for your son's education, your daughter's education, and you also have a very dysfunctional hospital system, then you are doomed. So it's a question of what are the overall circumstances around you. We are getting a CGHS benefit even after retirement. So I'm least bothered. As a matter of fact, I'm insulated. All of us in the government, not you, but me. Even after retirement, if the prices of oil go up, the prices of milk go up, the prices of medicine go up, it does not affect me all that much because I'm insulated. But if I did not have these benefits, then it's a different way. So, welfare and freebie. Freebie is when you are giving something directly to individuals in cash, and getting it done. A welfare, to my mind, would be if you are improving the social infrastructure, if you have set up a better hospital, if you set up a better aged care system, all these things, they constitute welfare. Welfare will always be there, infrastructure will always be there, security will always be there, but this targeted sort of a thing, that is the problem. For instance, if you have ICDS centers, when you have midday meal schemes, very good. You can have a feeding program, that's very good. But when you when you say that, all right, no, I will give you this amount of money per month,
Yes.
then I do not know what you're doing with that money, right? So I would prefer that we spend more on infrastructure and welfare and health and education. I mean, a good school is far more important. Now, fortunately, I've seen that in Uttarakhand, at least, the quality of schools, government schools in my neighborhood, has started improving. And if that had not happened, then people would be spending 2 to 3,000 rupees a month per child on even an average, school. Now that money is being saved. So you have to look at it in a much longer term perspective.
जी सर, आपने फ्रीबीज और वेलफेयर के बारे में यू हैव डिस्टिंग्विश्ड देम, बट आई वाज जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द कैश डिस्पर्सल पार्ट ऑफ इट, एंड I wanted to ask, you have mentioned that 18% of the budget will now go West Bengal में to this cash dispersal, 3,000 रुपये per person जिसको देने का एक डिसीजन हुआ है. To what extent do you think this is true for the entire country?
I haven't done the budget, but it would be around the same. But you see, again, what happens is that you have to look at what is the base. And I remember
Sir.
that, you see, when Andhra Pradesh, the United Andhra Pradesh, this must have been around 2009 or 10. I was still in secretary in West Bengal government, and my batchmate was the secretary to the CM of Andhra Pradesh. And when he started this 1 rupee rice scheme in Andhra, so I was meeting him and I said, how will you afford this? He says, boss, ऐसा है कि अगर हमारा 90,000 करोड़ का बजट है, तो ये 2-3-4-5 हज़ार करोड़ में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Depends on how big your budget is, how strong your budget is. You can afford to be good if you're prosperous, if you are doing. Now the challenge comes when you have limited budgets. In limited budgets, what do? In limited budgets, do you improve your schools? Do you improve your hospitals? Do you improve your roads? Do you improve your infrastructure? Are you investing then in the long term or the short term or the immediate? These are the sort of challenges and this is a challenge for all public systems anywhere in the world. This has always been like this.
Sir, if I understand you correctly, you mean that 15% of the budget, roughly, typically 15, आपने 18 कहा, सर 15 मतलब देश के हिसाब से, और टोटल कहीं ना कहीं फ्रीबीज में जा रहा होगा.
This is one of the freebies that is so, इतना हो सकता है, roughly we can say that.
सर ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट होगा. Do you like that?
No, it's not for me to like that, because let us also understand that you and I do not need that.
True.
But there's a large number of people who need that. And that is the very large number of people who are also going to be the voters. Therefore, let us also understand that ultimately politics is the revenue of winning an election. After all, everybody has a certain revenue model. I mean, you have a revenue model about training. You have a revenue model in which people must hear you. Right. So you will do whatever you can do to ensure that that your revenue model works. An IPO or a firm that has a revenue model in which they want to get investment. So in politics, the revenue model is that they must win an election every 5 years. Right. Now, there could be parties which are looking at mass mobilization throughout, who are looking at a communication throughout. And there are parties which will look at communication just 5 months or 6 months before the election. So to that extent, we have to see how the political leadership is looking at the conduct of its own politics.
सर ये सब सवाल मेरा पूछने के पीछे एक ही मतलब है. Of course, I want to bring this analysis of administrator, जो कि एक बहुत nuanced perspective है, वो reality से बहुत टच में है, क्योंकि ये असली में आप करते हैं, versus the perspective of a person who doesn't know much about this. ना उसको जानने के लिए टाइम है, ना वो जानना चाहता है. वो बस ये जानता है कि मैं 30-35% अपनी सैलरी का, अपनी इनकम का सरकार को दे रहा हूँ और मुझे वो नहीं मिल रहा जो मुझे चाहिए, और चाहे उसके पीछे जो भी रीजन हो, उसके एक्सपेक्टेशन ज़्यादा हैं या कुछ भी कह सकते सर उसको. मतलब मेरा पॉइंट ये है कि आई वॉन्ट टू गिव देम सम परस्पेक्टिव ऑफ रियलिटी, जिससे एक तो उनकी थोड़ी एंजाइटी कम हो, और अगर कुछ उनको जानने की ज़रूरत है तो वो जान पाएँ कि देश की डेवलपमेंट कहाँ जा रही है नेशनल लेवल पे. सर हम एक्स्ट्रापोलेट तो कर ही सकते हैं, बिकॉज आपने बहुत ब्रॉडली इस देश को देखा है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान से, क्लोजली यू हैव सीन इट. उसको क्या जानने की ज़रूरत है सर, कहाँ कैसे जा रहा है हमारा देश?
I think the country is doing well. The country is doing well, but like can always be said, it can also do better. It could also have always been done better.
Sure.
But I think what happens is कि देखो, जो हम इसको थोड़ा सा लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव में अगर देखें, तो the situation as it was in the 50s and 60s of absolute poverty, that has disappeared. That has practically disappeared. There's already state of Kerala has declared that there is nobody who's extremely poor in that state. उत्तराखंड में सिर्फ 9% पॉवर्टी बची है. मोस्ट स्टेट्स में अभी 20-25% के करीब है एज एन एग्रीगेट लेवल. सो इट इज गॉन डाउन. सो आई थिंक it is possible that over a period of time, once the demand of the, see, it also depends on what the public is demanding. You see, my own feeling is that that as the as the younger people come into the voting age, their expectations and their demands from the government would be very different. I've always argued, and I continue to argue, that after the census, the politics of this country will register a major change, because एक चीज़ तो ये होगी मेरे ख्याल से, if I am not mistaken, कि देखो जो हमारी अगली सेंसस होगी उससे ये क्लियर हो जाएगा कि the country is no longer a rural country. It is about 35 to 40% urban, और urbanization का ट्रेंड बहुत बढ़ रहा है. अर्बनाइजेशन का ट्रेंड बढ़ रहा है, माइग्रेशन का ट्रेंड बढ़ रहा है, गर्ल्स वर्कफोर्स में आ रही हैं, गर्ल्स एजुकेशन में आ रही हैं. तो जब ये फैक्टर्स सामने आएंगे तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज विल आल्सो चेंज देयर स्टैंड, दे विल आल्सो चेंज देयर पोजीशन. यू सी, दीज थिंग्स वर्क वेरी वेल व्हेन देयर इज मास पॉवर्टी. व्हेन देयर इज टू मच पॉवर्टी, देन इट वर्क्स वेल. अब जैसे ये जो लकी भंडार, आई मीन फॉर इंस्टेंस, इफ यू गिव अ फ्रीबी ऑफ 1500 rupees or 2000 rupees in Delhi, I mean, it will not cut much ice. It will not cut much ice because nothing happens in Delhi in 2000 rupees. But it will cut a lot of ice in Jharkhand or in Bihar. So it is also a function of poverty. It's also a function of what your majority voters are like. So once your majority voters come out of this, then the demand will be for more schools, it will be for more colleges, it will be for more technical colleges, it will be for more employment. Sure. And that is where the entire scenario will start changing. You see, right now, the majority of our MPs represent our rural constituencies. But my hope based on rational logic is that after the census and the new delimitation that will happen, once 35 to 40% of our MPs are urban, yes, once 35 to 40% of MPs are representing the youth of urban areas, sir, are representing the young demographics, the demands of the younger people will be very different. So there is always a 5-10 year mismatch between what the, you see, because the fact is that most of our politicians, most of our political leaders are above the age of 60. Most of the secretaries are above the age of 50. So the connect with what a 20-year-old wants, with what a 30-year-old wants, is sometimes there's a gap. I do see that gap. And that gap will be addressed only when there are younger people who come to politics, or when younger people articulate their needs more in public. Yes. You know, and when girls are more active, because women in the workforce are becoming more and more important. Already now you have 40% of the officer trainees in the Lal Bahadur Shastri, they are women. So naturally this voice will come up when you have more representation of women in the parliament. So when you have more urban people, so the demands are likely to change. The articulation of those demands are likely to change.
But sir, I wanted to again, I don't know if you will allow me, or I do not mean to be that persistent, but I want to come back to your understanding of where this country is going on a number of factors. Actually, ये सवाल मैंने पहले भी पूछा था in our first interview, but this time it's, in my opinion, a little bit more serious, because our first conversation, at least on this platform, was more than a year ago. I think things have changed a little bit. Where do you see democracy and the status of free speech in our country? Do you think it is good enough? Because I ask you not only as a retired IAS officer, but also as a person who writes, who's involved in the free press.
Well, you see, the point is that all freedoms are contextual. Sir. Now, I'm not trying to skirt away from the question. The fact is that, yes, one could have said that there should be much greater freedom, much greater liberty, much greater, the ability to write whatever you want to write. But again, we have to see the context in which the statement is being made, right? So whether it is, and in fact, the amount of criticism that happens in our papers is fairly okay. I mean, it is not that everybody is following that, is following a pro-government line. There are several newspapers, I mean, the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Print, the Quint, most of them are not taking a pro-government line everywhere. And sometimes they take a line, sometimes for, sometimes against. Now, take, for example, the very fine critiques that are coming out on the SIR. Now, and this is something, is a question which even the judiciary has tried to raise, the fact is that how do you address the question? There is now, again, as I said earlier also, the fact is that there has been some instance of illegal voting in this country.
Yes.
Illegal voting in the sense there is a fact that there has been a lot of unauthorized movement into this country. Part of it could have been just economic need, but part of it could also have been part of a larger political system. But one of the things which an argument which I made in this book is that demography defines destiny. So it is all very easy to say that this should be our view or that should be our view. But the fact is that all nations at all points of time have tried to look at the demography. Now, what should be done about it? How do we handle it? Could we have had a better system of border fencing 20 years ago? Could we introduce economic green cards? How do we handle the situation? That is a much larger question. I mean, what do you follow the procedure? What is the sort of method that you do about it? That is a larger issue. Now, what has happened is that the decay, or not, let's not use the word decay, but let's say that this festering problem was allowed to simmer for a long time. And for that, again, responsibility has to be fixed. You see, one can certainly say that the current methods, many of the methods that are currently in use to say pushback, are not the best methods in human rights or various other things. But we also have to see that when this was happening in a trickle over several years, or for several decades, thereby changing the demographics of several districts in Assam, at that time, the protest that was there was kept under the wraps. It was kept under the wraps. Now that has suddenly exploded. So for every political thing that is there, for everything that happens, there is a long process on why it has started happening. Now, if we are not taking correction, if we are not taking corrective action right from the very beginning, then these things start happening. So whether it is corruption, whether it is nepotism, whether it is cheating in exams or anything, two things have to happen. One is that our laws must keep pace with the changing reality. They must keep pace with changing technology. They must keep pace with changing expectations, because when that does not happen, then suddenly there's a big boom explosion.
So you mentioned something interesting which took me on a tangent a little bit, but I don't think it's a unimportant one. So I will ask it. Demography defines destiny. So recently I heard and I read that the replacement ratio has now gone down below replacement, I believe. It's gone down below, I think.
No, what has
1.9
happened is
something.
that in several states it has gone down. Aggregate country it is okay. And what is happening is that some of the more, what should one say, the states which have a better economic growth, like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Punjab, here the rate of growth is coming down. It's below the replacement ratio. But we have Bihar and we have UP and Jharkhand, where the fertility is still 2.7, which is above the replacement rate. So India does not have this problem. I mean, we will not have this issue till about 2050. So this will now again. One of the interesting things, Ravi, is that it's so difficult to predict what is going to happen. When China started the one-child policy, they did not realize what the long-term implications would be. One of the interesting things about social science is that you do not know what are the long-term externalities of a thing. We create automobiles, but we don't know that along with automobiles, you're also creating a jam.
Right.
So we don't know exactly what is going to happen. But in general, let us put it like this, that you also have to look at fertility rates along with longevity. What is the total number of people alive? You see, because there is one thing is the fertility rate, one thing is the net addition to population. The other is how many people live to 100 years ago.
True.
How many people are going to live to 100, and how many people aspire to live to 100, So I certainly aspire to live at 200 and have an interview with you when I turn 100. So
That is my aspiration also, sir.
to interview me or to turn 100? No. So I think these questions are not a yes and no question. You see, the issue is that interviews and podcasts like this are not rapid fires, and they should not be rapid fires, because in a rapid fire you give a yes and no answer. Now, if you say that Is there a freedom of press in the country? Yes or no? I cannot say yes or no. Because both facts are right. There is yes and there is no. Everything is nuanced. I mean, the amount of criticism which the Prime Minister faces in this country is I mean, so if you talk to the right wingers, they'll say that the PM is always being criticized. You talk to the left wingers, the Prime Minister is not being criticized. So both sides are right and both sides are wrong. So what do you say about this? I mean, there are newspapers in this country which do not have one good thing to say about the country. There are columnists who keep changing their opinion. So what do you make out of it? You know, you have some very distinguished economists, very distinguished columnists who started out by saying that this government can do no wrong. Now, these people are saying that, no, this government has done the following things wrong. You've had columnists who were totally opposed to this government, and now they are saying, no, the government is doing all right, some things are saying. Because the fact is that the reality of the world is also very complex. Now, we talk about foreign policy. Now, what kind of foreign policy can you do in a situation where you're not the only actor? And we are not the only actors in the foreign policy regime. Pakistan is an actor. You like it or not, Asim Munir is a factor. He's a factor, right? He's a big factor in politics now. Trump is a factor. Trump's son-in-law is a factor. China is a factor. Turkey is a factor. Putin is a factor. So who has been able to control whom? And Netanyahu have not been able to handle Iran. Right? They've had the world's greatest military power, the world's greatest so-called technology ensemble.
We are combined together.
Right? Combined together. Oh, chota sa Iran. But it's a stalemate. So it is very easy to say that India can take. What side can India? I mean, if you were the foreign minister, what would you do? You have to play with both sides, because we need Iran also, we need Israel also, we need USA also. We don't want to offend China too much. So this balancing is a very difficult task. And all life, I mean, the challenges of all life is how to maintain a balance. And if it was so easy, then life would be easy. But it is not. You see, life is competitive. Life is about probabilities. Life is about possibilities. Life is about how to convert probabilities into possibilities.
सर मैं तो अपने मन की बात बताना चाहता हूँ सर आपको.
मन की बात?
हाँ, मन की बात.
अच्छा, आप भी बताएंगे?
सर शायद पता नहीं, मैं शायद वो वाली मन की बात बताऊंगा जो सच में मैं एक्सपीरियंस कर रहा हूँ सर. ये मेरी लाइफ की फ्रस्ट्रेशन है सर, जो आपने अभी बताई है. ये मैं समझता हूँ दैट थिंग्स डू नॉट एग्जिस्ट इन बाइनरीज, देयर इज अ स्पेक्ट्रम. अगर कोई फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच की बात करता है, या कोई डेमोक्रेसी के लेवल की बात करता है, या कोई डेवलपमेंट की बात करता है, तो इतना आसान नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम और मेरी लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी फ्रस्ट्रेशन ये बन गई है, दुनिया को पेशेंस नहीं है. ना पेशेंस है, ना मैच्योरिटी है, ना इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट को समझने की क्षमता है शायद, पता नहीं. आई एम नाउ बिकमिंग मोर स्केप्टिकल बिकॉज ऑफ द outrage that I see on social media.
Ravi, outrage on social media is very convenient. It is very easy to sit and make a tweet.
Yeah.
You see, अब आप देख लो ना, to come out on the roads and protest is a different ball game altogether, and giving your opinion. Many times you're giving, I mean, every day you get, the thing कि इसको forward कर दो, अब ये इस पे concern. So sometimes you do it because your friend wants to do it. Now, let's take the assumption कि अब situation खराब और आगे situation अच्छी थी. I don't buy that argument. You see, आप कोई भी 10 साल ले लो इतिहास के, last 100 years, and I'm doing some research on how India was from 1900 to 2000. Every 10 years there's been something or the other which is so different, which there's no consensus. Everything is so and all opinions are so different. Let me take you to, because I'm a historian, let me take you to 1909, right? 1909 mein there are 3 very important, in fact 4 important things happen. And these important things happen all the time, but I use this 1909 as an example because Mahatma Gandhi wrote Hind Swaraj. Veer Savarkar wrote the First War of Independence. In fact, the First War of Independence was written before the Hind Swaraj, and Hind Swaraj was written as a reaction to the First War of Independence. And Aurobindo gave the Uttarapara address, and that was also the year of the Morley Minto reforms. 4 cardinal things happened to India which affected India, and all these are on an entirely different tangent. Right? Savarkar talks about an aggressive Hinduism. He says that is the only way you can liberate. And also the fact is that he used the same material from the India Office library, जिसको वो mutiny कहते थे, उसने उसको First War of Independence कह दिया. And he was only 25 years old at that time. Remember, let us also understand that at what age does wisdom dawn? At 65, after having spent all my time in the government, I can afford to say many things. So it's very easy for me. But recognize the fact that he was 25 years old when he resurrected and he created the term First War of Independence by reading about India in the India Office Library, and he coined this term.
Mm-hmm.
Mahatma Gandhi, also a young man in his 30s at that time, felt that this is too aggressive a nationalism and this is not the way India should grow. India should grow through its panchayats, India should grow through a village republic. So he wrote the Hind Swaraj, which is very different take from what the First War of Independence is. Now, in isolation, the First War of Independence is a great text. In isolation, the Hind Swaraj is a great text. And Hind Swaraj has had a life for a long time and everybody is swore by the Hind Swaraj. Now it's become a bit down. Similarly, there have been an incidence of the First War of Independence, and then there are areas of decline. Now it's rising up again. And the same year, Aurobindo wrote the Uttarapara address. He came out of presidency jail and he said that India's salvation does not lie in political freedom. India's salvation lies in spiritual freedom. That India, the only thing that India can offer to the world is spirit. The only thing that India can offer to the world is consciousness. So in 1 year, you have 3 stalwarts, all of whose photographs we adore in the libraries, all of whose books are kept everywhere, unfortunately are not read are not read with in-depth analysis and things. But in the same year, all this happened. In the same year, the Morley Minto reforms also happened. And that Morley Minto reforms actually set the beginning of India and Pakistan, or the beginning of the communal electorate, the beginning of this thing. Now, the moment you bring in democracy, the moment you bring in full freedoms, you will have caste, you will have identity, you will have issues which are regional, which will be region specific. So all these things will happen. So इसमें ताजुब क्या है? To say कि आज हम ज़्यादा contested हैं, आज हम ज़्यादा लड़ रहे हैं, आज हम ज़्यादा झगड़ रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है, हमेशा से ऐसा था ये।
So, मुझे लगता है
और ये होता है कि जब हम किसी चीज़ के बीच में होते हैं तो हमको लगता है कि यही सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है। ये फॉरगेट कि पहले भी ये होता था, बाद में भी ये होगा। एक नज़्म है, ये चमन यूं ही रहेगा, ये चमन यूं ही रहेगा और हजारों बुलबुलें अपनी अपनी बोलियां सब बोल के उड़ जाएंगी। तो ऐसा नहीं
ये
है
तो ट्विटर इलोन मस्क को लगा देना चाहिए अपने ट्विटर हैंडल पे ये जो आपने बोला अभी दिस इज ट्विटर इन हिंदी एग्जैक्टली जो आपने बोला सर। ये जो मन की बात मैं कह रहा था, जो मुझे लगता है वो आपकी बात ठीक है सर। अगेन आपने वही बात कही जो एक बहुत इंटेलिजेंट और एक मैच्योर इंसान बोलेगा, और जो मैच्योर इंसान सुनेगा उसको अच्छी भी लगेगी। मेरी सर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो गई है कि ये व्यू पॉइंट मुझे लगता है मिसिंग हो रहा है, और ये कम मुझे हो रहा है।
इसलिए हो रहा है बिकॉज हम लोग थोड़ा सा इतिहास नहीं पढ़ते हैं और देखते नहीं कितना कॉन्टेस्टेड हमारा इतिहास हमेशा से रहा है।
सर कुछ नहीं पढ़ते हैं
तो नहीं पढ़ते तो कोई बात नहीं, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि पहले लोग बहुत पढ़ते थे। आई डोंट गिव सच अ, आपका जो ये स्केप्टिसिज्म है ना, दैट इज ऑल्सो एन स्केप्टिसिज्म ऑफ हाई एक्सपेक्टेशंस। दैट्स ऑल्सो स्केप्टिसिज्म वेरी हाई एक्सपेक्टेड। देखो एक बात सुनो, यू सी व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट ओनली you know, again, let's look at it this way. I'll go back to the Bhagavad Gita, which you were talking in the morning.
Yes.
You see, the first opening sentence of Bhagavad Gita is Dhritarashtra Uvach. So Dhritarashtra is asking a question to Sanjaya.
Yes.
Tell me, Sanjaya, ये जो कुरुक्षेत्र के लड़ाई में ये मेरे बेटे और पांडु के बेटे क्या कर रहे हैं? ठीक। उसके बाद में धृतराष्ट्र disappears from the scene. वो सारी बात सब सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन धृतराष्ट्र भी सुन रहा है, लेकिन सुन के उसको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही है, which means that there is a cognitive, you see, you only hear what you want to hear. There's a lot of information available, but you hear only what you want to hear. I mean, the example of cognitive dissonance जो हमको academy में बताते थे, because those days smoking was the in thing in the academy. I mean, I also used to smoke. Faculty would also smoke. I mean, cigarette companies were everywhere. I mean, they used to sponsor cricket. They used to sponsor, fashion shows. So now one can look back and say, ये तो बंद हुआ. But in the 60s, 70s, 80s, if you see all these film stars, if you see all the cricket players, if you see all the heroines, they were all compelled to have a smoke because, charms is the spirit of freedom, charms is the way you are. I mean, I remember very distinctly the ad lines of these cigarette companies because they had such a profound influence. Because जैसे आजकल political ads आती हैं, like today you cannot read a newspaper without seeing political ads. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, right up to the mid 80s, you could not see a newspaper without cigarette advertisement, because that was a major source of revenue. In fact, इससे मुझे बात याद आ गई कि वो एक बार वो वन वेरी बिग कॉर्पोरेट ऑफ अ मेजर, he was talking to me, we were in the flight together, and he says गवर्नमेंट ये करती, गवर्नमेंट ये करती, गवर्नमेंट ये करती है. मैं गवर्नमेंट कुछ भी करती हो, गवर्नमेंट सिगरेट तो नहीं बेच रही है ना. गवर्नमेंट आपका सारा प्रॉफिट तो सिगरेट से आ रहा है, तो कम से कम गवर्नमेंट नहीं. That's on a lighter vein. The fact is, you see that we get conditioned by various things, and then we think कि यही reality है. ऐसा नहीं है. तो मैं बात, let's go back to the Mahabharata, to the Gita example.
Yes.
I'm saying that information is available, good intent is also available, but लोग ठीक काम करेंगे, ये कभी नहीं हुआ है. और ये एक्सपेक्टेशन रखना कि दुनिया ठीक हो जाएगी, ये भी शायद एक ख्वाबी पुलाव है. दुनिया ऐसी रहेगी, इसमें कुछ तामसिक चीज़ें होंगी, कुछ राजसिक चीज़ें होंगी, कुछ सात्विक चीज़ें होंगी. इन सब के मिश्रण से ही संसार चलेगा. तो one does not have to get unduly perturbed about it.
Unduly perturbed. But perhaps that is what is happening to me. Perhaps that is the right
No,
diagnosis.
that is fine. That is fine, because these are the questions which every young man must have. These are the questions which Arjun had. These are the questions every young man, a young man who is not inquisitive, there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
But if a young man continues to be inquisitive all his life, then also there's something wrong with him. So I give my favorite example. You see, when we were young, I mean, not that I'm not young now. Let's say that when I was younger, we were rebels without a cause. हमें rebellion करना था. Cause कुछ भी हो, it doesn't matter. But you want to rebel. 17, 18, 19 in college, you want to rebel, so you rebel. Then you have a rebel with a cause. And now we have causes but no rebellion. So that is the transition of life. So you must graduate from being a rebel without a cause to being a cause to being a rebel with a cause. Like you must now be a rebel with a cause. And now when I've reached my stage, the Vanprasth stage, you must have causes but no rebellions. You must be able to find structured solutions. You must be able to give advice, which will hopefully bring about some changes, some improvements in the way we are doing things. And on the whole, the world is improving. The world is becoming a better place. I mean, आप इसको उस लेंस से देखिए, अगर आप जेंडर पर्सपेक्टिव के लेंस से देखिए, तो आज से 30-40 साल पहले क्या स्थिति थी, उस लेंस से देखिए. अगर आप ट्रांसजेंडर राइट्स की बात से देखें, तो इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है. अगर आप इसको इक्विटी के प्रिंसिपल से देखें, तो क्या चेंज आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है. So when you look at anything, you cannot look only at one aspect to it. You have to look at many aspects of it. You see, अब ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन हुआ, ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन से फूड प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हुई, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ ये the water table has gone down.
Yes.
There is a problem. I mean, there is a cancerous growth has started with the fertilizer. So all these things are there. But in general, we have to see how things move up, how things change, how things shape, and how best we can address them. There are no perfect solutions.
Sir, I suppose I am a rebel with a cause,
Yeah.
और मेरा rebellion यही है. It is against this one-sided stupid type of thinking, and my cause is exactly to instill this sort of thinking through these platforms. This is वो आप सर IAS ऑफिसर्स के लिए करते हो जब वो जाते हैं. मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि ये पर्सपेक्टिव थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा फैल जाए, क्योंकि अगर ऐसा हो गया गलती से भी थोड़ा सा भी, तो पब्लिक डिस्कोर्स की क्वालिटी इतनी बढ़ जाएगी कि जो आप सर कह रहे थे ना कि 5-10 साल का एक लैग होता है between what the political leadership acts on and what people want, वो कम हो जाएगा.
Certainly. No, this is our job. This is our role. And we are doing that. We are contributing to a cause. It's very good.
पता नहीं
Why
सर,
should we be skeptical?
because I think I'm
celebrate
failing.
it.
I'm failing horribly, I think. That is why.
Huh?
I think I'm failing, that is why.
No, you're not failing. You see, failure is again a question of what you're... You see, you can pass with 35%. You can be dissatisfied with those passing marks. You can say, नहीं कम से
Sir,
कम
you
first
have
division तो होनी चाहिए
you
थी.
make me feel better, I know it.
So, no, it's a fact. I mean, so now if you set your target at, 99.999%, you can still be frustrated that you didn't get 100 on 100. You know, so...
क्या कर सकते हैं सर. एक तो एक जिंदगी एक है, देश एक है, और इसी जन्म में देखना है मेरे को.
और इसी जन्म में हमें इस देश को सुधारना है, और ये देश सुधर रहा है. ये जो गलत फहमी है लोगों के मन में कि देश सुधर नहीं रहा है, I don't buy that argument at all. The country is doing well on most fronts. There are some fronts where we are not doing as well as possible, but other fronts are much better.
Exactly. और डेटा बोलती है सर साफ, मतलब इंसान देख सकता है, बट ये लोग सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं. पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम है.
नहीं, प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं. प्रॉब्लम ये भी स्वाभाविक है, इसमें कोई बहुत ज्यादा टेंशन देने की जरूरत है. I mean, I think we should end on a positive note, and things could always be better. But things could always be better does not mean that things are not improving.
Right.
And sometimes the delta improvement is not visible. Sometimes the delta is, you see, you do not realize the fact that I can tell you that in Punjab, nobody wanted to stop at the red light. वो कहते हैं, क्यों रुके? क्यों रुकेंगे? I must share, and we'll end with this. You see, when I was in college in Jalandhar, there was no way in which there could have been a common bus for boys and girls.
अच्छा.
There's no possibility. Matlab, girls would have been hooted out. I mean, they just would have been, virtually lynched in a boys' group. So there were two buses, buses for girls, buses for boys, right? In the boys' bus or even in the girl, there was no question of a line. I mean, jisko dhakka mukki. So when I went for my first job to Bombay, and I was waiting when the bus came, my natural instinct was to run to catch the bus. And I found everybody's looking at me like this. What's gone wrong with this young man? Why is he running? And I realized that nobody is running because in Bombay in 1982, everybody was queuing up because it was very clear that once the bus goes, the next bus will come in 5 minutes. So why should you do it?
Right.
But in Jalandhar, I was not very sure when the next bus would come. So all our behavior is also a function of what is the environment around us. You see, we have not given credit to Swachh Bharat, for example. If there are no toilets, what will people do? And I must tell you here, a good thing that you see, last time I was traveling on this new national highway, the new highway to Dehradun.
Yes.
The toilets were not functioning. So I rang up that 1033 number.
अच्छा.
And by evening, they put in some system. The water supply has not come, but they put in water tankers.
अच्छा.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that, you see, it is also the response of the citizens. We, rather than, get so upset about it, is after all लिखा हुआ है कि क्या करना है आपको. आप लिखिए, respond कीजिए. कई बार response हो जाता है. अच्छा response हो जाता है. I mean, we're not looking at how efficient the fire brigade has been in some of the recent incidents. We've not been appreciative of what the police has been able to sort out in several instances. Yet, the moment something goes wrong, we are the first to say, "Ye galat ho gaya, ye galat ho gaya, ye galat ho gaya." So let's take a little bit of a. I would exercise some positive restraint.
Sir, I don't know if I can, but अगर मैं कर सकता था ना, मैं प्रिजर्व कर लेता ये आपके पर्सपेक्टिव्स, ये आपका विजडम कहीं ना मैं प्रिजर्व कर लेता और
रखो ना इसको, रिकॉर्ड तो कर लिया आपने.
हाँ. अब ये सर मतलब अब मेरा बस चले, मैं तो लिटरली इसको कंडेंस करके इसका वो बांट दूं सबको, जो है पुड़िया.
नहीं देखो, ये मैंने सुबह भी आपसे कहा था कि ये पुड़िया तभी इफेक्टिव होगी अगर कोई पुड़िया खाना चाहे. इफ यू डोंट वांट टू हैव इट,
नहीं, ये तो सर वाटर सप्लाई में मिलाने वाली चीज है. तो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम ऑलवेज सच अ प्रिविलेज, व्हिच आई सेड इन द बिगिनिंग, इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ओनली. सर, यू गिव दिस पर्सपेक्टिव and you give it with such a profound conviction which is coming from such a profound experience. तो उसको फिर क्वेश्चन करने का मतलब नहीं है. और सुन के शांति मिलती है आत्मा को और दिमाग को, दोनों को. तो फॉर दैट आई एम जस्ट फॉर एवर ग्रेटफुल टू यू. एंड इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग आई कैन डू हियर, I mean, in the whole platform, it is to sort of preserve this, even if it is in data, I suppose, and not in the form of some juice which I can sip. But for that, I am so grateful.
Thank you, Ravi. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.